Hi, it's me, Vicky Marie. So I got some time off today from classes and I'm going to make quite a few videos. I'm doing this one. This is an update on the suspect in the Charlotte Sena kidnapping. Of course, Charlotte, hallelujah, was found safe and well, and as far as we know, was not harmed in any way, as far as we know so far anyway. Found in a cupboard she was kidnapped on Saturday evening from like a nature park where she was there for the weekend with her parents, family members, and she just went for a bike ride on her own, what should have been a 4-minute loop around the campsite, and disappeared. Hi Rio, hi Princess. And anyway, so it didn't look very good, did it? But anyway, the upshot of everything was that by Monday she had been found. Hi David. And she was in the cupboard of this guy, Craig Ross, found in his cupboard, and he lives in a trailer in the grounds of his mother's trailer. I think it's a trailer or a mobile home. And there she was, found there safe and well. He was apprehended. He's been arrested. And of course, that's when, like, he's had a preliminary hearing or whatever they call it, arraignment, is it? Anyway, on Friday, he's back in court again. So he's caught. But of course, now starts all the questions. Hi, Jackie. All the questions start now about how did he do it? Why did he do it? Has he done it before? He has no previous convictions, only for driving under the influence, DWI or DUI that they call it. Hi, Mia. So he has no other convictions for anything like this. But of course, things are coming out now that people are saying about the guy. And he's quite a scary. Oh, hi Wendy. Oh, sorry to hear that. Maybe we can cheer you up a little bit by, talking about a kidnapping. But no, you know what I mean. Sometimes it helps just to be in the chat, doesn't it? Have a little bit of support. Anyway, so let me just show you a picture of him. He's a very strange looking guy, isn't he? I shouldn't say that just because he's got a bit, red hair and a beard. He looks a bit like a redneck, and I don't mean that because of his red hair, but he's got that look about him, hasn't he, with the beard and everything. And anyway, this is Charlotte. So questions remain, don't they? Although obviously, I mean, I'm sure they're getting answered at the police are getting their answers. They've probably got quite a few answers, but they just haven't shared them with us yet. We're going to look at what the police sheriff had to say about the case and what he can tell us so far. We're going to look at quite a few videos. But, for me, the most mystical thing is how he did it. It is quite mysterious, isn't it? Because, one is supposed to have MS. So reports are coming out now that he's got MS. Hi, Saskia. And that is why he lives in the sort of in the grounds of his parents' house or his mum's house. It's because he has MS. So then I thought, well, if he's got MS, how's he managed to? I know she's only a little girl, but, still, how's he managed to sort of snatch her without her making a noise? Hi, Tina. How's he managed to do it without her screaming? How has his mother not realised that he's got this girl in his trailer? Does Charlotte know him? This is a question that and when I say know him, I'm not saying that necessarily it's anything to do with the family. Multiple sclerosis, Stuart. Hi, Stuart. Multiple sclerosis, which is quite a debilitating condition. you know, it wouldn't be physically, I mean, it depends on how far it's progressed. I mean, multiple sclerosis, you know, it can get really, really, really bad where you can't even move, but he might not be at that stage. But do you see what I'm saying? This is it's a strange one. Now, the other strange thing, so this ransom note, because he then went to their house, went to the parents' house, bearing in mind that they were still at the caravan park or the camping site. Now, there's all conflicting stories coming out about this. First of all, they said that the police was staking out the house, but they got called away to another call. And in that moment when they got called away to another call, he went and hand delivered this ransom note in their post box. That's one story that came out. Then it was said that they got called out. The very first story I heard was that they saw him do it, but it all happened so quick. So by the time they got to that they realised it was dark and he did it very quickly, he'd gone. Okay, that was the first story I heard. Second story was they'd been called out to another emergency. You know, they had been sat there watching the house. They got called out to emergency, and right in that moment that they got called out to another emergency, he went and delivered this note. And then my thought was, well, then how would they know when they got back that he'd been there to deliver that note? Anyway, now they're saying, which probably seems more likely, now they're saying that a neighbour saw him deliver the note, that he snuck up to the... now, bearing in mind, his property, his own property is not far from the parents' house. Having said that, he doesn't live there. He lives with his mother. You know, this is one of them, isn't it? So it's like, ugh. You keep hearing all these things and it's quite confusing. Hi, Angela. Yes, Angela, last night in my live, I said about those two girls. Yeah, the two girls that disappeared in Milton and were found dead, weren't they, a couple of years later? But it was 2003 and 2006. But yeah, we did talk about that last night. I had that up in the live last night. So yeah, he would have been in his 20s. I think he would have been probably a little bit younger than 27 for the first one, because it's 2003. He's 47. Oh no, that's 27. That's 27. Yeah. So yeah, he will be being looked at for that, because they were in the local area and they were associated with trailer parks, weren't they, and car parks? Yeah, and this about him being a mailman. Hi, Heather. Now, so the thing is, so this is my question. Well, one of the many questions that I have. One, did Charlotte know him? Because, you know, children will go off with people they know, and they don't have to be a member of their family or whatever. You know, if it was a mailman, for example, Stuart, I'm not saying that it wouldn't be abhorrent for him to abduct a little girl. What I'm saying is, would he be capable? You know, that's my question, is his physical situation. Because to kidnap a little girl in broad daylight, you know, in a place like that where there's lots of people, and it's just strange things that are occurring to me. How he did it, how his mother didn't hear, you know, the fact that he took her back to his mother's house. And anyway, I'm not going to read the chat now, not for any reason except I'll get distracted, because also now another neighbour has come out and said she thinks he attempted to kidnap her 2-year-old grandson. So I'm going to show you that video as well. Again, I'm not sure about that, but you'll tell me what you feel when you see the video. So it's just, yeah. Then, so did he kidnap her to ransom her? You know, was that because what was the motive of the kidnapping? Had he been stalking her? Did she know him? What was the reason for him kidnapping her in the first place? Was his motive ransom, or did he kidnap her originally for another reason, for the sex reason, and then did he think, because one of her family, of course, her aunt, is involved in the media, Fox Media, I think, and that. So did he then, when he saw that, think, oh, here's an opportunity, maybe I might be able to get some money out of this? People do things for a reason, whether it's a sex that he took her or whether it was ransom that he took her. It's unlikely that he took her for the two reasons. It's probably one or the other, unless he took her for one reason and then the other reason occurred to him. But then that brings another question. How much money did he think these people had? I mean, they're not rich people. Would you ransom a normal family? Do you know that if somebody kidnapped one of my family members, I mean, there's, who are they going to ask, and how much did he ask for? Because we don't know, it hasn't been released yet. How much did he ask for? What were the conditions? Where did he say, oh, leave the money in such and such a place? We don't know the contents of that ransom letter. All we know about the ransom letter or the ransom note is that, he's not exactly the brains of Britain or the brains of the USA, because he left his fingerprint on that. And that's how they caught him. So he's not forensically aware. Anybody these days surely is forensically aware enough to know that fingerprint, even if they don't know about a lot of the things that they can do with forensics, etc., and high bad fairy, they do normally know about fingerprints. Fingerprints have been around a long time, haven't they? So yeah, or maybe he's got some learning difficulties or whatever. Oh, Wendy, it just came through that message just as I was thinking that. Maybe. But then how did he plan it all? How did he kidnap her without anybody noticing? And was he just there at the right place at the right time? Or had he been following her, watching the family, knew that they were on holiday there at the park, went to the park deliberately to target, maybe not her, but maybe just to target a child, and he saw her on her own and he saw his opportunity. So these are the things we don't know yet, isn't it? And then, as Stuart says there, we don't know how he knew her address, but he may have got her address from her. I don't know, or if it was on any of the news. But yeah, so we've got a lot of questions. Now, we had a little look, didn't we, last night, in the live that I did last night. We had a little look at the sister Jenny that's been doing the appeals, if you like, or being the media, because she's in the media. And we had a little look at her TikTok account. Yeah, it's true, Angela. Charlotte might have written the letter, but so this has all reminded me of a case in the UK of Shannon Matthews. It's and I'm doing a live about her tonight, about her case tonight, because I've watched a lot about. So there's a lot of similarities here with the Shannon Matthews case, which, having said that, the Shannon Matthews case, the family was involved, and I'm not saying the family are involved here, but the similarities with the man who had her, but she went quite willingly. There's no, I think Shannon was, anyway, that's for tonight, to talk about Shannon Matthews. So what I'm going to look at now, I just want to show you, hi Ellie, I just want to show you the TikTok message that Jenny, the sister-in-law, she's the one that's done the GoFundMe page, etc. See you, Wendy. I hope you're okay with the situation with your mum. So we're going to just have a look at, this is the TikTok video that Jenny, she's on TikTok, solving all your problems We looked at some of her videos yesterday. Anyway, this is the video that she's put on TikTok. I think you can see it. Just let me check. I have to make sure, because otherwise everyone is shouting at me. Yeah. So this is the video that she's put on her TikTok to say, you know, how great that Charlotte has been found. Let me know what you think. Okay, so there you go.
Now you're just showing off. I can't believe my eyes. Don't stop.
Okay, so what did you think about that? Do you know, I know we're not all the same, and it wouldn't be right if we were all the same. But, you know, I looked at that and I thought so that's the TikTok video you put up when your niece, your 9-year-old niece, has been literally missing for 24 hours. And everybody, let's face it, everybody thought the worst had probably happened. Statistics tell us when a child is missing for even more than an hour, never mind for more than 48 hours, it's not likely to be a good conclusion. So and then suddenly, miraculously, she's found. It's like a miracle, and it really does feel like a miracle. And that's the video. What do you think? High method. That was the sister-in-law, the one that's been. Let's just go back to it again. I was a bit sort of in shock. So this is the sister-in-law who, let me see, I wonder if I can, yeah. This is her. This is the video she put out.
So much information out there about my niece, Charlotte. I appreciate all of the videos and all of the outreach. It's a little bit overwhelming. I'm obviously handling the media stuff for the family, given that I work in the media. There isn't any information that we can tell at this time, but if you can keep sharing her photo and praying, really, that is really the best that our family can ask of anyone at this time. The police are doing their job.
Okay, so that was the video she put out. So she's not 18, you know, like TikTok. You know, I don't like TikTok, and I think that may be an age thing, though. I do have friends that do really like it. You know, I find it a bit surreal, a bit silly at the best of times. So, but that's the video she put out on TikTok when Charlotte was missing. Now, a lot of people use TikTok. I've got nothing against them using TikTok if that's their favourite forum. But it's that video. I did wonder, did she get, I don't know if she's got any children or not, but it is like something, hi Irish Eyes, It is like something that a child would put on, or a teenager, or whatever. It doesn't seem like what an adult, to say, thank God Charlotte is safe. It doesn't seem like something. Anyway, there you go. I think it's inappropriate, but yeah. Hi, Desi. So very strange. Very strange. I don't like. I don't like the song. It doesn't have a picture of the little girl on it. It doesn't have a picture. There's no warmth to it. There's no warmth to it. I mean, how fabulous must that feel? To think that your child had been kidnapped and you didn't know what had happened to her. And really, initially, they'd have been thinking, obviously it was more, not for a ransom, she'd been kidnapped probably for something terrible to happen to her. Now, I do believe that ransom note was posted in the very early hours of the morning. But anyway, we're going to look at the sheriff in a minute and what he had to say. But yes, I didn't like that. But you know what? She's in media. Maybe she's looking for likes herself, looking for, which reminds me, don't forget to press the like. Maybe she's looking for followers. I just don't know. I just don't understand it. Hi, Phaedra. Oh, I've got some interesting footage of Emma. I'm going to do a video on Nicola. Some information about the river. And while I was researching that, I found some videos we've seen before of Emma, but I've got some new videos of Emma as well. But anyway, that's another story. So let's go back to what's happened. So what do we know about this guy now? So we know he did kidnap her, or well, he had her. So either he kidnapped her or someone else kidnapped her and took her around to his house. Who knows? Because the sheriff, you'll see later, says they're not presuming that anyone else is involved at the moment. So maybe he did do it himself and nobody helped him. I don't know. So we know that. We know that she was in the cupboard. We know that he dropped off the ransom note because it had his fingerprint on it. So, I mean, duh. I mean, it's like, even Inspector Clouseau could have worked that one out. Do you know what I mean? It's like Blunderman or something. I mean, for God's sake, you drop off a ransom note and you put your fingerprint on it. Come on. Anyway, but he did. He's got no other criminal offences except for a DUI or a DWI so far. Whether he's been involved in these other cases, we don't know, but there's no evidence yet. He's not been charged with ever in any other case. Also, he's got MS. Also, what was the other thing I wanted to say about him? God, there was one other thing that I wanted to say. Yeah, how did he pick her? How did he stalk her? How did he get her to go with him? Did he know her? So there's a lot of questions, isn't there? A lot of questions to go. A lot of things to find out yet. So now, let me just turn off some windows. I've got a lot of things to show you. Oh, so now I'm going to show you this lady, the neighbour, who says she's now come out and said, and I'm not sure about this either, because why didn't she go to the police when it happened would be my question. But they found a neighbour who's gone on a few news channels and said that he tried to kidnap, or she feels that he tried to kidnap her 2-year-old grandchild. So let's see. Go back to the beginning.
They also say that he suffers from MS, multiple sclerosis, doesn't get around very well. He's charged with one count of kidnapping, and one of his neighbors says that in July, her grandson was nearly kidnapped by him. Police showed her a picture of
So this was only in July. So this was this year.
that man, and she said, that's him. That's the man that tried to kidnap my grandson from our front lawn. He also has an 11-year-old daughter and 2 adult sons. Of the adult sons, one of them told Fox News, I hope he dies in prison. The 11-year-old daughter, who knows? I hope she is safe. And I hope she has been safe growing up with him, if in fact he is the kidnapper. I want to go to Brooke Schaefer. She's our News Nation correspondent who is live outside of the Saratoga County Jail, where that man is locked up tonight. You had
I think you can see this this news reporter, she doesn't like him, does she? I mean, you know, she's really letting her feelings show through, which is, you know, I do that quite often as well. So I understand that there's a lot of anger towards this guy, which is fair enough, isn't it? But I do feel like we need to know the full story. But apparently he's being kept in isolation in the prison because, you know, they don't like child lovers in prison, do they? So, yeah, he won't be having a brilliant time of it, that's for sure, and so he shouldn't. But at the end of the day, we do have to remember, although we don't know the full story yet.
had a chance to talk to that neighbor. I think her name is Carol Brownbrook.
Yeah, she lives on the street just a couple houses down from the home where they found that 9-year-old girl. She said that she had seen this now accused kidnapper around before. She said she had a somewhat uncomfortable interaction with him. She didn't really want to talk about it too much, but here's what she said. Take a listen.
Yeah, I had one interaction, and it was very uncomfortable, and I don't want to talk about it. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that anyone that I've ever seen, or I just can't fathom an individual being capable of such a hideous thing.
Again, that neighbor not really wanting to go into details about what made that interaction so uncomfortable, as she described it. But really, people who live on that street just in shock to learn the news that this little girl was kidnapped. And
well, on another video that I watched, she did make it clear what the interaction was. She said that her son, her grandson was on the front lawn, and she turned around and saw this man coming towards him. And she said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, nothing," like this. And then he said he was looking for some sort of gardening tool or some help with something to do with gardening, because he only lives up the road. And she said, "Oh, I'll get my husband." And he said, no, it doesn't matter. And off he went and got on a bike and cycled off. Now, so I understand that must have spooked her, but I don't know, would he have tried to kidnap a 2-year-old boy and cycled off on a bike off a main road? I mean, would he? Anyway, there you go. We don't know. We'll
and was
find out.
hiding in a trailer just steps away from their own homes. Ashley?
What about the family? You know, I recall last night Governor Kathy Hochul being very tight-lipped about the family, saying they will share if they want to. That gave me a chill up my spine, given the fact that who knows why a grown man kidnaps a 9-year-old girl and holds her. But we all have our suspicions. What's the family saying?
The family is staying pretty quiet for now. They are focusing their attention on Charlotte, rightfully so, and I think understandably so. But they did release a statement. They're not doing any on-camera interviews. But in their statement, they said, quote, "We are thrilled that she is home, and we understand that this outcome rather is not what every family gets. A huge thank you to the FBI, the New York State Police, all of the agencies that were mobilized, all of the families, friends, and volunteers." Again, as of yesterday afternoon, there were 400 people on the ground searching for this.
Yeah, we didn't get that sort of response from Nicola's family, did we? Oh, thank you for everyone. You know, obviously, Nicola, it wasn't a happy outcome. You know, she was found drowned in the river. But I don't think the family, they just attacked everybody who tried to help, didn't they? Including Peter Falding, you know, so very different kind of thank you, isn't it? At the end of the day, when the public intervenes, they are trying to help normally. And okay, then it must be irritating and what have you, but I think as far as Nicola's case was concerned, same with Charlotte or any other case, the public is normally concerned for the victim.
Little girl. Late yesterday, we got the overwhelmingly good news that she was found alive. At last check, we heard that 9-year-old Charlotte was taken over to the hospital for medical evaluation, and that's where she was finally reunited with her mom and dad.
Brooke, real quickly, about 20 seconds left. Craig Ross Jr., presumably in the building behind you. Inmates do not like people who do things to children. I don't know what he did or if he did anything to this child. I don't know if he's guilty or not. That will be for a jury to determine. But do we know anything about the way they have him incarcerated and where in that building?
Right. So we know that he is in the Saratoga County Jail, the building right behind me. My team was talking with New York State troopers earlier today, and one of the officers told us that they believe he is in isolation in the building behind me, so not in general population, at least for now. He was arraigned this morning. He's being held here without bond.
Yep, that's exactly what I expected you were going to say, because that's usually what happens. Brooke Schaefer, thank you. Great reporting for us. Really.
Okay, now a couple of things that I just want to clear up, because there's a lot of rumours going around. What happened there? A lot of rumours going around that he's related to another sex offender or this, that, and you know, there were so many rumours in the beginning. That those are true. You'll see when the sheriff, in a minute, we're going to listen to the sheriff talking, and he does hi Tickety Boo. He does hi Shelley. He does member for 3 months, Shelley. Oh. Another a milestone, a milestone. A milestone definitely is a milestone. 3 months of putting up with all of us. Anyway, so I hope I haven't missed. No, I don't think I've missed anybody else coming in. You're all chatting, but. Ooh, if I've missed you, say hello again, and I'll try and catch anyone that I've missed. Yeah, padded cell. I hope he is in a padded cell. The thing is, we don't know the background of him yet. Well, we know he kidnapped a young girl, and that's bad enough, I suppose. She was in his cupboard at the end of the day. We might not know all the ins and outs of how she got there, what happened, if he was assisted by anyone else. This is what just strikes me. If he has MS, it's a very debilitating disease, MS. And the other thing is, if it was so bad that he's moved out of his own house, you know, to be in his parents, in the vicinity of his parents, if that's the reason that he moved, and then, you know, there's been talk, oh, he's behind on his payments on the house, you know. So the thing is, you end up with a lot of tittle-tattle. And we have to sift that out, don't we? And we can't really believe anything unless it's confirmed by the authorities. So he's definitely not related to another offender. That is just, hi, Hannah. That is just pure people making things up. Unfortunately, people do that. So we've got to be careful, you know, what we sort of believe or don't believe. We've got to have confirmation, haven't we? Can't just say things about him. Because, you know, even he deserves a fair trial. Because the other problem with that is that if too much is said about people, and then his lawyers can say, oh no, he didn't get a fair trial, they can get off on technicalities and things. So it's important that that doesn't happen, isn't it? Okay, so let's see. I want to find now. This is what we're going to look at next is the state police leader of the NYPD. And I don't know, don't know what his actual name is. But anyways, the state police leader, he was on, he did speak at the press conferences, and he was interviewed, and he said how they found. So I think we can assume that whatever he tells us is what really happened. So these are not rumors. This is coming from the actual mouth of the police leader. This is really what happened. Hi, Jean. Did you creep in there? Hi, Jean. Hi, Jean. It's her. Hi, Emma. Okay, so let's have a look at this sheriff. I don't think he's the sheriff. I think he's the state police leader. Let's have a look at what he's got to say. I found this very interesting.
Safe and sound. How did it feel to know that you all could deliver that good news?
Oh, it was a great feeling when we hit that residence and she was in there and she was alive and we were able to bring her out successfully. It was amazing.
And can you describe what goes into the search effort with a case like this?
Well, there's multiple facets in a case like this. We have a wooded search, which we bring in our DEC forest rangers who are experts in grid searching and organizing grid search. So they coordinated the park search for us, like looking for her in the woods if she had walked off, wandered off, got hurt, injured, lost, those types of things. We had about 6,000 acres of park up there we were trying to search.
Now, so I found this very interesting because, you know, there was some criticism that the Amber Alert was not declared until the following morning. And here he's explaining what their procedure was, that they felt that they had to search the actual campsite, woods, park, whatever you want to call it first, to make sure she wasn't there before they called it an Amber Alert. And yeah, David, the gang's all here today. A lot of people. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like.
Which yesterday we had over 400 people out there in the woods searching during the day. And at the same time that's going on, we're doing a criminal investigation on the other side in case, trying to determine, was she abducted? Was she a victim of a crime? So
I do like the New York accent that's going out. I can't do it. I like JLR's accent and this guy's accent. I like most accents, to be honest.
We have our investigators. We were working with FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit and several other agencies. Huge team effort. We had tons of resources committed to this to try to bring this to a successful conclusion.
Awesome. And I heard from the press conference on Sunday, you guys broke down the time frame of everything. And you said that because of the time frame, you all immediately believed that it was an abduction. Can you talk about it?
When it first happened, we couldn't immediately jump to the fact that it was an abduction. You know, we had a bike sitting in the road, no evidence of a struggle or a crime. You know, so our first inclination is we treat it as if it could be.
I think from what you said there, that was another rumor, wasn't it? At the time, there was the rumor that one of her black Crocs was found by the bike, but I think from what he's saying there, we can assume that it wasn't. So, because he just said we just had a bike, so there was no signs of a struggle. That's what he said. So,
abduction. So we're working that angle just in case. But we have kids, children all the time. Like they park their bike, they see an animal, they walk into the woods, and they get lost. You know, we had campers right in that area that saw nothing, didn't see anybody take her, that were close enough where they could see where the bike was and didn't see anything. So we had no indication.
That's a bit odd, isn't it? So he's saying there were campers who were there who were close enough they could see where the bike was, but they didn't see anybody take her. You know, these are the things that strike me as strange. And yeah, they're right. You know, kids would do that. If you can imagine, she's cycling along. She sees even a rabbit run into the woods, or it could have been a bobcat or a bear. Somebody the other day was saying there was bears, but then somebody else came on and said no, that, you know, well, they'd seen one bear in the whole sort of time that they'd lived there. But yeah, so she could have just left the bike, you know, gone off into the woods to chase that animal, whatever it was, or she might have seen another child and might have run off to, you know. So he's right. Anything that, you know, I can remember when I was a kid and we used to go off on our bikes all over the place.
Right away that she was abducted. So we had to do our due diligence, searching the woods. And at 7 o'clock at night, it's getting dark. So that's an obstacle for us. And the call comes in at 6:45. We have to get resources up there, get prepared, and start searching that wooded area. So I know everybody looks at NCIS and they have things in place in 10 minutes. We're in kind of a rural area, a rural park, that does take some time to get people in place to get this search conducted and try to determine what we do have.
What is it about the difference between again, he's explaining like that, but he's not defensive. He's taken criticism for not declaring the Amber Alert more quickly. He's explaining the reasons why he didn't, but he's not being defensive about it and getting angry like Rebecca Smith did in the Nicola Bulley press conference, that like sort of angry that anyone should even question. The thing is, if you receive criticism then like that, if you're a police force or whatever, then you explain the reasons why you did it. You don't have to get angry because the public are only concerned about the girl. They're not making those criticisms out of badness. They're just thinking of the girl and how it might have helped her. So I do like the way they deal with just normal questions without being defensive.
But we immediately start treating it as an abduction, a possible abduction, on our criminal side with our investigators. But we have to verify some things first before we try to confirm of what it really is. Because like I said, we get these things daily. Kids wander off, they run away from home. There's different things where it's not an abduction, it's not a crime. So we have to rule some of those things out.
Makes sense. And I know you guys got a ransom note about 4:20 in the morning. Is that when you all were first aware that this is an abduction? That would have been the first solid clue that we had that it was an abduction. Obviously, we were getting into the point. We've done a lot of ground searching. We've covered a good portion of that park. We're under the assumption by Sunday morning that this is more likely an abduction than not. She's a 9-year-old girl. She walks away. She gets lost. She's probably not too far from the bike. So when we get into the woods during the daylight hours, within a few hours of searching that area thoroughly, we start to move towards this is most likely an abduction. And when we come to the conclusion that we think this is an abduction, pretty confident, that's when we send out the Amber Alert. And you mentioned the Amber Alert. People have questions about the protocol. Can you explain that? There are certain things that we have to meet before an Amber Alert can go out. And some of the reasons behind it, we get questioned on it a lot. Some of the reasons behind it, every time a child walks into the woods or goes missing, if we put out an Amber Alert, no one is going to pay attention to those Amber Alerts. They're going to be out every day on an Amber Alert. I think that's an important point that he says there, because the whole thing about an Amber Alert is, isn't it? Is it as soon as they say there's an Amber Alert, it's like everyone is alert. I mean, that's the whole point of it, isn't it? But what he's saying, and I do understand what he's saying, is if they issued an Amber Alert every time a child went missing for longer than an hour or two, there'd be so many Amber Alerts that people wouldn't register the uniqueness of it so much. And I do understand that. I really do. So we have to show the child was abducted, the child is in danger. And even on this Amber Alert, we put it out, but we didn't have a lot of information to put out. Like if you saw you're driving up the thruway, it doesn't say, look for this vehicle, look for this. It says Amber Alert, call 511, because we don't have something for them to look for other than just her. We had no indication of a vehicle. We had no indication of someone who took her. We had no indication of an area where she may have went. So we get the Amber Alert out to make sure people are looking for her, but we still had limited information to put in that Amber Alert. Right. Makes sense. And I know we got a press release 4 o'clock yesterday evening that you all are now expanding your search, actually reaching out to different sex offenders in that county. Can you talk about that? We explored every avenue. We worked with our Department of Corrections, with their sex offender registry, and we talked to every potential sex offender in the area. We went to every residence in the area. We spoke to every single person that was in that park that day that we could identify. Any lead we could come up with, we were exploring it and looking at it thoroughly. Is there anything you could tell us about that ransom note? There's not much I can tell you about the note, because this is obviously an ongoing investigation. Just because we found her
we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of pieces of this puzzle to put together to assure we have a solid prosecution of this case, and that this subject is sentenced properly or prosecuted properly.
Does Ross have a history with you all at all?
The only criminal record he has is back in 1999. He was arrested for a DWI. He has no other convictions on his record. He's been on our radar for a few things here or there, but nothing.
Yeah, that was interesting. He said he's been on our radar for a few things here and there, but then he says, but nothing major.
Obviously, nothing that would lead you to believe something like this would happen.
Yeah, nothing that would lead you to believe that anything like this would happen. So you know, there is nothing.
Could there be more arrests, do you think?
More arrests or more charges?
More arrests. Like, do you all think he was a one-man team?
We have no indication that he was working in conjunction with anyone else. We believe at this point it was one person, and there's no threat to the community at this point. But like I said, it is an open and ongoing investigation. So we are.
He really dodged that question well, didn't he? So the one thing I was a bit, I don't think because she said to him, he said, will there be any more charges or anybody else arrested, wasn't it? And she just said, oh, anyone else arrested. But I wish she would have then asked him, are you expecting there to be any more charges? Because he seemed to be quite open to answering that.
Are reviewing every possibility, so I can't say conclusively, but we have no indication of anything like that at this point.
And then we know the state park.
So he does say there's no indication that anyone else is involved.
It's still closed. Are you guys still doing work out there?
We are maintaining the park for now as we do our investigative steps. We want to make sure there's nothing else we need there before we open it back up. There are a few things that we're still looking for that we may or may not be in the park. So we're still doing interviews. We're still processing crime scenes. So until those things are done and we're confident we don't need anything in the park, we have no ongoing searches going on in the park right now. We're just securing it until we're sure we don't need it.
Yeah, so the park is still closed because I know a lot of you watched JLR. He was there last night, wasn't he? Wouldn't have been nighttime there, but it was nighttime for me. I was watching his last live stream of the day, and he went to the park. He was there at the park, and he walked. In fact, I'll probably show you a bit of that video in a minute because he walked around the park. There's a fence right around the park, but he did come to a bit on the road where there was police tape there, and it seemed like there was no fence. But we'll have a look at it. I'll have a look at that in a minute with you, because there was a few things I noticed there. That road is very busy. If this guy would have parked up on the side of the road there, he would have been seen. But anyway, we'll see.
Let's see. I want to make sure I got everything. Here's a question. Were you all looking at Ross before the ransom letter?
We were not.
Okay. And then
so he was not on the radar before the ransom letter. So how stupid, so out of all the things they were looking at, he was not one of them. Then it's almost like, do you think he wanted to go to prison? Do you think he's planned this? Like, you couldn't plan going to prison any better, could you? I know what I'll do. I'll kidnap a 9-year-old girl, just put her in a cupboard. I won't do anything terrible to her or anything horrible to her, but I'll kidnap a 9-year-old girl, and then I'll send a ransom note and I'll put my fingerprint on it, and then I'll be in prison and be looked after for the rest of my life. I mean, seriously, you couldn't have planned it any better if you would have wanted to go to prison. Do you know, it's just mad, isn't it?
Is there anything else that you need from the public right now?
Not right now. I want to thank the public. We had a tremendous response from the public, from the family, the community. We had an outpouring of support.
How lovely. I want to thank the public. We had an outpouring of support. Not leave us alone now. F off, basically, like the public and everybody, not only the public, but the mainstream media, social media, public, so-called experts. What they got is right, cough now. of the Nicola Bulley family, whoever that was. This is the sort that, you know, even if you're thinking that, that's not what you say. That's not what you say. What you say is what this guy said. This is professional. The police never thanked the public in the Nicola Bulley case. Nobody did.
We had an outpouring of leads that came in from the community. They reached out to us. We tried to track down everything that came in, but that community up there has been outstanding to support us and to support her family.
Awesome. And what was that like to be able to tell her family, like, you all found her?
It was an amazing feeling to be able to tell them that, hey, we got her and she's alive. You know, as time goes on, you get into that 48-hour window and you start wondering, as law enforcement, we know the clock's ticking. The longer we take, the less chance we're going to bring her back alive. And it was actually almost 48 hours exactly from when she was taken till we got her back.
And how often do you all get the chance to deliver good news like that?
Situations like this, to be honest with you, we don't get too many cases like this. We get abductions of children, which are usually family members, people they know. A random act like this, we don't see this very often. These are few and far between. I mean, this is a disturbed individual that took advantage of an opportunity. We believe we don't know of any connection to the family and him. We're working on a lot of things.
He seems to think it was someone who took advantage of an opportunity. I'm still not sure about that, but he said they're working on different things.
This is a scary act.
It is. Anything else you'd like to add that I didn't ask?
No, I would just like to thank all of our partners. We had people from all the state agencies. You know, we had state DEC, we had state parks police, we had DOCS, we had Saratoga County sheriffs, we had Schenectady County Sheriff's, Schenectady Police Department, and the FBI was phenomenal for us. They flew people in from all over the country.
Right. First off, I want to.
So that's what the Amber Alert, of course, does. It means that all these other agencies, like the FBI, get involved, don't they? So, you know, once they announced it was an Amber Alert, everyone sort of all the different agencies sort of come together, don't they? Okay, I'm just seeing what else I had. So, what do you think? You know, that's it. I'm interested to know about the ransom note. How much did he ask for? How much did he think that family would have? I mean, is he just a total loon? Are we trying to put like sensible heads on someone who's just a complete lunatic and just, you know, has he planned it like it's almost like a kid would plan it, you know, like when you're playing games when you're a kid and you were playing police, cops and robbers or something, you know, and the robber, they'd give you the plan. Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll go to this bank and we'll pretend, we'll get a banana and pretend it's a gun and they'll give us all the money because that's what you think will happen when you're a kid. You know, it seems quite logical that they'll think it's a gun. That's what it feels like. It's that sort of plan, isn't it? The plan that a kid might come up with and not think about all the, the realities of it sort of thing. So is he just like maybe very childlike? But I don't think he can't be totally sort of, you know, on another planet because he's been married, he's had 3 children, you know, so he's been in society. If he's had a job, if he has been a postman, he's held down a job, you know, he can't be a complete Fruit Loop, you know, so very odd. Yeah, nobody saw anything, and yet let's have a look at So I was very struck by the niceness. So even, you know, thanking the FBI, thanking all the other, you know, it's very strange that with Lancashire Police and Nicola's family, you know, I can't actually think, and right, all of you out there, I'm asking the British people now, have you ever known a case where the police came out and slagged off the public and anyone who tried to help in the same way? You know, even if they came and say, look, it's not helpful thank you, but it's not helpful, in a nice, respectful way. I know some people went maybe a bit too far and stuff like that with the actually going to the scene. But there's a way of talking to people, not just like jumping on them. I've never known that before. I have never known that before. So it's very strange, very strange. Yeah, I don't know, Rio. It could be. I've got, as I say, I've got a couple of videos to do. One I'm going to do probably today, public, and then of course the members live tomorrow night. I've got some things to show. I mean, there's not much. It's sort of almost not new information, but it's information that just concretes what we already know or think. Anyway, and if you are a member, don't forget to sort yourself a mask out. Send me a photo of. No, never. No, everybody, all of you are saying on there, never seen the police criticise the public like that for helping, ever, and be so. I mean, that final, I don't know if he does drugs, but Fairy, we don't know yet. We don't know enough. That final press conference, as far as Nicola Bulley was concerned, after she'd been found, I literally gasped when that statement that was read out by the police officer, it was so vehement. It was so, and not against everyone, against ITV, Sky News, so-called experts, the public, social media, mainstream media. Leave us alone now. You know, after they'd been on, or Emma had been on, you know, bloody every 30 seconds, it felt like. So anyway, don't get going about that. I'll probably get going about that later. You're going to hit the power shop, Harris. I shite, forgot the mask. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't want Peter Falding being brought. And then look at the inquest. You know, nobody relevant, really. It felt like almost nobody relevant was brought into the inquest. And the ones that obviously were relevant, like the pathologists, etc., they weren't asked any questions. Questions were not asked, were they? So anyway, let's have a look at, I want to just show you JLR's footage last night, because so that you can see the park. So JLR, good old JLR, he'll be on later, I expect. He's already been on this morning having his breakfast and telling us what he's going to get up to today. He'll be on later today, going around all the areas. Yeah, he did this this morning. He did his toast as he was eating his toast. But we don't need to look at that. That was just him chatting. But so what we'll look at is the actual park. So this is what I love about him being there. And honestly, I think we need someone like this in the UK, but somebody respectful, you know, go around these scenes and, you know, when something, it's different in the UK, isn't it? Like, he doesn't, the police don't seem to mind him being there, because he's always respectful and he stays away. If they tell him to go over the other side of the road, move back, go somewhere else, he just doesn't, I know, I can film you, mate. Don't get any of that rubbish with JLR. And how he gets people talking. Like, he got the suspect's son to speak. We saw that on the live last night. He started off like a bit belligerent, and then because he gets people to talk, because he's not disrespectful to them. Anyway, so this is the park. Obviously, I'm not going to play the whole 2 hours of this, but this was the end of it. Let me see if I can get to the bit where he finds. So he walked. You're not allowed in the park still, or weren't. This is Morrow Lake State Park. Now, you're still not allowed in. That policeman just confirmed they were tying up loose ends. He said they weren't still searching or whatever, they were tying up loose ends. So it was still close to the public. It might, I think it maybe today it might be open. If it's open today, JLR will be in the park. You can guarantee that. So what he did was he walked around the outside. I want to find the bit where he walked around the outside. Now this is the road, the main road, and the actual park itself, there's a fence behind those trees. There is a fence. It's quite a busy road.
As the sun starts going down.
Looks very beautiful. I do love trees.
Look how thick and dense this woods is.
Now, I don't know, you know, we don't know yet how they think he did take her. He must have taken her in a car. He hasn't taken her on his bike, surely. But did he park up somewhere? Surely somebody would have seen him. You know, it's very open there, isn't it? To park up, go in through the woods, snatch a child, bring her out, put her in your car without anybody going past or seeing you? Or did he actually drive into the park? But the thing is, everybody who drives into that park is registered. You know, they know everyone who goes in and out of that park, either from the car number plate system or you have to take a ticket. You know, one of those things. We've got places like that around here near where I live. You can go into the golf courses. There's a lot of golf courses, beautiful golf courses. Not that I like golf. I don't like golf, but the golf courses are beautiful. But when you go in, you know, there's a security guard there. They take a picture of you because there's houses there too. People live inside the complex. And yeah, they're very secure because every vehicle, I mean, obviously you can sneak in there walking, but every vehicle that goes in there or comes out of there is monitored. CCTV, vehicle registration. And there's a guy, like a little security guard there. I don't know if they're there 24 hours, but even if they're not there, there's cameras. So, and that is the same here. So did he go in to the park and come back out again? I mean, crazy.
Fence. Black fence.
Yeah.
Black fencing.
I actually worried about this. Reminds me of St. Michael's on Wire, because when you walk along the main road in St. Michael's, there's so many cars and, you know, I mean, it's so busy, that road. That's what struck me right from the beginning with St. Michael's, the busyness of the road. So same here. So surely you wouldn't take a chance of parking here to abduct someone. No, and he knows the area. He knows that it's busy. It's daylight.
Those 30 minutes. Thank you, Cindy. Those 30 minutes. Between 6:15 and 6:45, man. It's a lot of time. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, everyone. Christine Kingsbury. So you're at the park with your family, you got your kids, they're all running around, having fun, friends playing. You're out in the middle of nowhere like this. and your child, your little girl, gets snatched, and the bike that she was riding gets left behind. This is absolutely insane here to think about this as it's starting to get dark. A monster is lurking in the woods.
I wonder.
And here's where it happened, folks. It looks like right over here where there's crime scene tape.
Yeah, that's where he found the crime scene tape. Let's go back to where he found the crime scene tape. Look.
Trooper was walking.
So you can see that the fence there is down, or it looks, I mean, did he take scissors, well, if not scissors, wire cutters or whatever, to cut down the fence? But how did he know? The thing is, this just comes back to my whole point. How did he know at that particular moment she would be cycling past on her own? You know, is he a clairvoyant as well as the world's worst criminal because he leaves a fingerprint behind on, even Inspector Clouseau could solve what he did. So, but is he also a psychic? Because he just knew that at that very moment that he went through that fence, little Charlotte would be whizzing round on her bike on her own when she's been whizzing round on a bike with a load of other kids for ages. But he knew that at that time, at that point in time, and you know, it was dinner time, you know, people were eating. It wasn't the best time to try and catch a child on its own because, you know, he would know that it was a time when people would be having, what do they call it, a cookout. I love that expression. You know, the people would be eating. Wasn't a time when the children would be normally sort of playing. And then why didn't he wait for nightfall and then go and see if he could find a solitary child? It's just strange to me. The thing is, he had to be in and out because he couldn't park his car there, then go in, and then it might take him an hour to find a child. And his car's parked out on that road for an hour. There's going to be cars going past. So, or was he passing? Had she got off a bike for the reasons that we said earlier, maybe she'd seen a rabbit or whatever. He's driving past in his car. He sees her on his own and takes that opportunity. I'm just looking for more ways. The thing is, because there it is. Did you see? I can't find the bit where he actually saw it. Yeah. Gosh.
Some sort of tape
There it is.
on the. Looks like they spray painted something here. What's this? Drop point. What does this mean?
Oh.
What's your thoughts?
Well, I didn't see that. I missed that last night. So maybe I dropped off to sleep or whatever. Drop point. Right, I'm coming back to the chat to see what you think about that. What about a drop point? What can drop point mean? What can that mean? Drop point. Drop what? I'm just looking to see. What do we think about drop point? Could be the ransom, the bicycle, yeah. But the police have put that there, haven't they? So maybe he did, maybe in the ransom note, maybe that's why he told them to drop the money off. Yeah, but drop point, Shelley. Drop point, you're dropping something off. Maybe it was where he told them to drop the money off. Because as I say, we still don't know, as far as I know, we don't know the contents of the ransom note. Yeah. Drop point 1 though as well, isn't that? The drop point number 1. Yeah, he took the ransom note to Charlotte's house. But what did he say in the ransom note? Did he say that was where to drop the money off? Yeah, it could be nothing to do with him, Jackie, right? It could be for equipment for searching. It might be to do with the police and nothing to do with him. You know, I don't think that's necessarily where he took her, because I don't think they would call it a drop point. Be a pickup point. But anyway, we don't know, but it's interesting. Let's see what else JLR said.
And somebody spray painted some stuff here. So crime scene tape right up there. Did he park here?
Did he park there? He would stick out like a sore thumb to the cars going past.
How low these power lines are.
Oh, God. Jesus. That reminds me of Spain. That's what they're like in Spain. Yeah, did he park there, go through there into the woods?
Is there any other crime scene tape in the woods here? I'm going to look. So a little past that sign to the right there is where the crime scene tape is. It's all over down there. Now I don't see the loop anymore.
Can't see the loop now. So he was saying earlier on that he could actually see the loop that she was cycling around from the road, but he can't see it now. So, yeah, this I personally.
I think the loop starts turning that way to go back around, because that doesn't. I don't see it at this far. So this place here has my interest. So did the dude park here, go up there, go up, grab Charlotte, come through here, put her in a vehicle, and then bam.
So it all sounds very logical, but the thing is, how did he know? You know, did he just park there just to go and see? Was it just coincidence and she just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or had he been stalking her? Does he know the family? Was he watching? But having said that, the family said that was the first time she'd ever done it on her own. Or maybe he wasn't looking for her specifically. Any child would have done. He was just looking to see if any children were around. You know, it's a mystery. I think it is a complete... I think there's a lot more to this that I'd like, you know, it just doesn't make sense. I don't like it when things don't make sense. You know, often, you know, in cases and that when everything comes out, things make sense, don't they? That this happened, that happened. That's the thing with the Nicola Bulley case. Nothing makes sense. I'm feeling this with it because we don't have the full information, of course. I'm hoping that things will start to make sense. But, you know, we'll see. Now, there's one more thing I just want to talk to you about before I go. I mentioned about, you know, we've been looking into the Rachel Marin case, and then there've been these 2 models murdered in Los Angeles, both models, both murdered, and something that has the police are saying they're not connected, but they're both sort of very beautiful women, though they are women of colour, whereas of course Rachel wasn't a woman of colour. But there's a lot of similarities between them, the 2 models that have been murdered in Los Angeles. And I was watching, I think I've turned it off. Maybe I'll do that on another day, but there's a little update on that one of the girls, one of the models. It turns out she was pregnant. And not only that, which is very, very sad, but her injuries, whoever murdered her, they broke both her ankles, which I just thought, how do you even do that? How do you break someone's ankles? You know, you've got to really, really hurt them. And why would you do that? Anyway, so that's, I think I'm going to have to do that in another video because this video is quite long already. So that's what we know so far about this suspect. I'm sure there'll be more coming out as the day goes on because, of course, it's just daytime now in the USA, in New York State. Things all happen. I know, it's awful, isn't it? So the sledgehammer method, yeah, but why? So that'd be perhaps more personal. But anyway, we will look into that. I almost don't want to look into it now because I just want that person to be caught. You know, but the same as Rachel Marin's killer and the other girls. So if that means that if Rachel Marin's killer is a different person, the 2 models who are very similar in their lifestyle and looks even, etc., are they 2 different? So that's 3 psychopaths roaming around. You know, I'd almost prefer it to be a serial killer rather than 3 nutters, 3 horrible people going around killing these poor women. So I will look into it again. But yes, I have watched Misery. Yeah, it does sound a bit like extreme violence, David. You're right. It was so we still don't know all the details. All we know about Rachel Marin's injuries are what Michael told us that his stepdaughter saw and that it traumatized that they were. He said, he made some comment like, oh, well, there's not going to be an open coffin, or, you know, some stupid. That's what drew attention to him, really. He said some silly things, didn't he? But having said that, makes you think now that's extreme violence. And yeah, I have seen Misery. Yeah. Bye, Bad Fairy. Yeah, Stephen King. So basically, this is what we know so far about the suspect in this case. One of his neighbours alleges that she thinks he tried to kidnap her grandson. I don't think he perhaps did. I don't know, but who knows? He's got multiple sclerosis, so he finds it difficult to get around. You know, do you see? These are the strange things. We don't know yet if he was a postman or if he knew Charlotte in any way. You know, the thing is, children, I've seen cases before where children have gone off freely with people. Well, you've only got to look at the Jamie Bulger case. He went off with those 2 because they were kids, and He didn't even know them. You know, children, it's amazing what children will do. Shannon Matthews went off with her abductor. She didn't even know she was being abducted, you know, because she knew him and she went to his house and, you know, you know, with children, sometimes they don't realise they're being abducted. The only thing I would say about him is he does look quite scary. So unless she knew him from somewhere, if he was the postman, or I suppose it only takes them to say, oh, you remember me, don't you? I'm Mr. Such and Such, and your mum's got a problem, or your mum's asked me to pick you up because, you know, children do believe things. So. Oh, Rio, it's easy to break ankles if you know how. But how? Oh. Yeah, I suppose so. Phaedra, I thought it was their feet they broke. So that they would break their feet, wouldn't they? So that they could squeeze them into tiny little shoes, because it was considered the smaller your feet, the better. But maybe you're right, maybe they did their ankles as well. Oh, don't put it on here, no. Rio, so if you put on how to break them, then it's in the news tomorrow that somebody's had their ankles broken. Yeah, I think it was their feet, which is bad enough, but yeah. Oh, I mean, I know it's easy. It's funny enough. It's sometimes I do actually know someone who broke their ankle, literally just turned over on their foot with high shoes on, wedges. Just went over on the shoe and broke their ankle. So maybe it is easier than you think, but yeah, that's bye, Tickety Boo. Thanks for being here. That's a good idea, Jackie. You may well have asked Charlotte to help him with something if she was a helpful little girl. But I still don't think she would have gone with him unless she knew him. Yeah, but if she'd known him, if she'd seen it, you know, if it's someone you knew, you know, Mr. Such and Such from up the road, and he said, oh, can you just help me with this? Or, oh, look at this little deer that I've just found, or this baby bear that I've got in the back of my car. Yeah. Yeah, the drop point. Oh, I can't wait to find out where it is. So the thing is, you want to know all the information because, you know, you just want to know what happened. How did my thing now is I'm thinking, how did he do it? And how did his mum? And if she didn't scream, so maybe he did use chloroform or whatever, or maybe she didn't scream because she knew him. Or maybe he had a knife, or maybe he had a gun. I mean, we just don't know, do we? But yeah, I think wedges are. I never wear any shoes with a heel now. You know, thank God that they're not now. You know, young girls today, they don't know what the torture we had to go through. When I was 18, you couldn't buy it. God, you wouldn't be seen dead in a pair of flat shoes because they just weren't fashionable. So, you know, you just squeeze yourself into the most uncomfortable shoes. And I'd always come home from a night out carrying my shoes in my hand. In fact, my feet had been hurting me before I'd even got to the bus stop going. So, yeah, terrible. And people that I know. Oh, Jackie, did you pop out for a minute? Did you not say about breaking ankles? Running from the bus stop. Oh God, I would walk home in my bare feet from nights out because I wouldn't, you know, you'd have bare legs as well. I mean, I'm from Manchester, it'd be freezing cold, it'd be -4 degrees, but you wouldn't wear a coat and you wouldn't wear tights or anything like that because it might spoil your outfit. So my dad used to go absolutely mad. Yeah, but not now. And people who have worn them all their lives, of course, they end up with deformed feet. You know, bunions, all that. I haven't got, because I stopped wearing them probably by the time I was 30. I wasn't wearing them. So, but I know, you know, I've got friends who still wear them now or try to. Why? It's like masochism. You know, they maybe. The only time, well, anyway, I won't go into that. Sometimes there might be a time and a place to wear them, but not walking. But unless you're like someone's picking you up literally outside the door, taking you to the restaurant, you've only got to walk from the restaurant door to the seat, and then vice versa. You know, not if there's any walking involved whatsoever. Okay, now that's it. So I'm going to go, but I think I will probably be back. Well, I'm definitely be back tonight because I'm going to do a live about Shannon Matthews. And I've got this video coming out about Nicola. Some observations. And tomorrow, honestly, you members who be joining me tomorrow night for the members live, I can say there's some video and pictures that you'd be interested in seeing. But okay, thanks for being here with me. Don't forget to hit the like on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. Oh, Jackie, you'll have to catch up about the broken ankles. It's not very nice, but anyway. And I will see you really soon in the next video, very soon. And until then, may your God go with you. Bye. Anyway, the main thing is Charlotte's safe, so we're still happy about that. But thank you. Bye. Oh, poor Archie. He's plaiting his legs, probably. Bye.